when we look at different collections in .NET, that is array, array list, hash tables, specialized collections, etc., each of these collections have their own strong points as well as weak points. For example, when I look at arrays, right, arrays are strong typed, so because of that, there is no boxing unboxing, so the performance is much better as compared to other collections. But then the weak point is that it is a fixed length. Now if you look at array lists and hash tables, they are resizable, but then the negative point is that they take only objects in the collection, so because of that there is a lot of boxing unboxing. So as a developer, what you would like is, we would like to take the advantage of both of these type of collections. In other words, we want our collection to be strong typed, and on the other hand we also want it to be flexible, resizable. And that's where exactly where generic collections comes into picture. Generic collection bridges the advantages of all the things what is available currently in .NET collections. So in other words, generic collections helps us to create flexible, strong typed collection. Easy. Now remember that generic collections and generics are different concepts. Okay, generics is the main concept, and then from that what has emerged is generic collection. So first let's try to understand what are generics, and then we will try to go in depth of different generic collections what is available in .NET. In order to understand generics, let's understand in what kind of situations we'll be using generics. So here's a typical scenario we have a very simple compare function. This compare function takes inputs and compares if those inputs are equal or not. So for example, you can have a string input and it will actually do a string comparison to check if the strings are equal or not. In the same way, you can have a numeric input and then the compare function will actually do a numeric check to see that if both the numbers are same, if they are equal or not equal. Tomorrow more data types can come in. Now in order to better maintain the code and increase reusability, if somehow you are able to separate this logic, this compare logic, from the data type, then you would be in a better shape. In other words, you would like to create a very generalized logic, and on runtime you can attach the data type to that logic, and that logic will operate as per the data type. And this is exactly what generic does. It separates the logic from the data type. So your logic and your data type, they can be separated by using generic, so that you can have better reusability, you can have better maintenance, etc. So let's do a small sample to understand that how data type is separated from the logic by using generics. So let's go ahead and create a simple console application here, saying my first generic program, right? And let's press enter, and let me go and create a simple class here called as check. And in this check class, let me go and create a simple function called as compare. Now this compare function can take up numerics, it can take up strings, whatever I wish to, right? So for now what I'll do is I'll just take numerics. So if I is equal to y, it will return true, or else it will return false. So return true, or else we return false. So let's go ahead and create the object of the class. So we'll say check, which is equal to new check, and we'll say boolean bool b1 is equal to obj dot compare, right? So let me say 1 and 2, which is not equal actually, so I'll get a b1, I'll get a false. Okay, so if I run this application now, I should get a false. So very nice and simple application. So that's a false, so it's working, right? Now what I would like to do is I'd like to put a string comparison, or I would like to put a boolean comparison. So I'm sure that many of the people would say go and overload the compare function, etc., etc. But rather than that, if I can somehow go and detach this compare function from this data type, and then if I can go and define the data type during the runtime, that would be great. and that's what we can do by using generics. So the first thing is ensure that you have system.collection.generics imported in your class file. That's the first thing. Now in order to define that this class can be attached to any data type, what you have to do